Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Hey, I'm Aaron.
Hey, I'm John, and this is Pastors and Pizza.
I'm Josh, and this is Pastors and Pizza.
A podcast where three very unqualified
pastors consume some of the best
and
worst pizzas
Western Washington has to
offer,
while trying to make sense of our faith.
figure out how it
connects to the world around us.
We believe the best conversations happen over food.
So pull up a chair, grab a slice,
Pour a cold one.
And come along with us.
wherever it is we are going.
Wherever it is we're going.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Pastors and Pizza.
We're back.
How's it going today, Aaron?
Wonderful, John. How are you today?
Oh, I'm doing dandy. The sun's out, and we're out eating some lunch. So
we got out on the road. Where did we go today?
So today we have made our way to Alfy's Pizza in Monroe, Washington.
I love Monroe.
I live in Monroe.
Oh, wait, it's not that far away.
So yeah, I mean we're close by. Only about a 10-minute jaunt from the office.
True.
So Alfy's Pizza, I'm gonna be honest, we've kind of purposely delayed this one to the point of really we just can't really delay it much longer because we're almost out of pizza places in the immediate vicinity.
Kind of best for last kind of a thing, or
we'll get into the reviews here in a second, but I think cat out of the bag, no. No, not best for last.
Meow meow.
So I will say that though that Alfy's does have a little bit of my heart.
For sure.
Some nostalgia.
Nostalgia for sure.
Yeah, we both grew up not too far from the Alfy's Pizza in Linwood.
That's right.
Probably about equidistance, actually. I mean,
yeah,
you
totally.
from Briar and me from a different part of Linwood.
Yes.
It's probably about the same amount of time to get there.
It was also, did you do like team parties there and stuff?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. As far as I know, our paths never crossed at Alfy's in Linwood, but we didn't know each other at that time. So
I think when you would have been there, I mean, there's possibilities for sure. But like, what did you say? There was that place over by you that was Sparta's, or?
that was a little bit closer to me, but not that much closer.
Right.
But yeah, that was Sparta's Pizza. Yeah.
Maybe 3 times in my lifetime I was in that building.
I don't know if I ever have been to the Linwood Sparta's. Ever.
Where did you guys go?
We almost always went to Alfy's or Godfather's.
Oh, I thought you said.
And in Little League, I was on Hagen or the Green Team, depending on which era of sponsorship we were in. And one of our rivals was Sparta's Pizza, and they were I say rivals, and kind of the Alabama and Auburn are rivals, where one team kind of dominates the rivalry.
So you guys dominated them?
No, we got worked most of the time by Sparta's Pizza.
When you say Green Team, which means to be sponsored later, generally.
Yeah, the team without sponsor, yeah. But they did it geographically back then, so it wasn't a whole lot we could do about it. It was just if you lived in this little area, this is the team you were on.
So the haves and have-nots a little
It kind of was. Yeah, Sparta's was stacked. So anyway, we're all a little off topic, but so yeah, Alfy's Pizza. My family, I think I've talked about this before on the podcast. My family did Friday pizza night.
That's right.
And one of the most frequent places was the Alfy's Pizza on 164th in Linwood.
Man, absolutely. So many memories.
Really cool spot. Mm-hmm. Huge arcade downstairs.
Downstairs.
So that honestly was what made it my favorite when we went there versus other places, is because the arcade was huge, and my parents would give us some quarters and get us out of their hair for a little while before the pizza showed up.
And then again, my mom would be upstairs and not want to see us for an hour.
Oh, wow. So you got lots of quarters.
Sure.
Oh, you're going around testing all the little coin returns on all the machines to see if there were some extra quarters lying around?
Absolutely. And
yeah.
Some of it, I mean, like here at this one in Monroe, they have like a game console. There was nothing free.
Oh yeah, they did. That didn't. I mean, game consoles barely even existed back in the day. So I mean, you definitely didn't have them sitting in the pizza shop. But I remember. Do you remember the big projection screen at Alfy's in Linwood?
Oh, totally.
That projector thing was huge.
It was so big.
So big.
So the nostalgia. Let's talk about the taste.
Well, yeah. So a little bit more on the nostalgia. So yeah. So we both have had the experience with the awesome Linwood Alfy's, which no longer exists. And I just heard recently that the one in I want to say like the Maltby area, I think, just closed as well.
Wow.
Might have been the Everett one. One of the two.
Everett.
Just closed.
I think it was the Everett one.
Yeah. So Alfy's is getting fewer and fewer as we go here.
Sadly, Alfy's, if you're listening, as a baseball coach, we were out there in Granite Falls, and they told us, don't even bother coming by.
Wow. Why?
We were a half an hour to close when we would have been coming in.
Okay.
But we said, lots of money. And they're like, we don't care.
We don't want it.
We don't want it. And
Interesting business model.
very interesting. And really, if you've got a hour, hours of operation, that would include the last half an hour of...
Yeah, I mean, theoretically, I should be able to walk in there a minute before close and order a pizza. But
Yeah, not this time.
I mean, I get the mindset of wanting to not stay late at work because a bunch of people just came in. But anyway.
Might have been because we were from Sultan. Who
Yeah.
knows?
They probably just didn't like you guys. You're rivals to
Oh.
Granite there.
There wasn't much of a rivalry this year.
Oh.
Doggy. All right, anyways.
All right, so the other nostalgia factor that we have is maybe not quite as far back into the time archives, but we both have had plenty of experience here at this particular Alfy's in Monroe.
Yes, we have.
So between like team sports parties,
Oh, my.
birthday parties,
Lots of birthday parties.
I've had baseball coaches meetings here.
Yeah. We do our Christmas thing with our family, and when we're in town, we come to Alfy's.
Wow. All right. So it is a nice big place.
Right.
So if you've got a group, it's a great place. You got the party rooms that you can they got the wall that closes in between, so you can either have two separate party rooms or one big party room.
And right now, it's one big party room with our own Sultan Middle School 8th graders are here for the AVID program on a field trip.
Yeah. Props out to the middle school here.
Blair Brodden, shout out to you, bro. You're going to get mentioned again in a little bit here.
Yeah, Luke Asper, you just found out. Hopefully you're listening now to the podcast.
Come on, Luke. I'm seeing you right now. And Brody. Why did I do this? Sorry. Bodie, what up?
All right, so let's get into the actual pizza here. So I'm gonna start off with, like I said, we have kind of been holding off on this one because, let's be honest, we just haven't been that excited about coming here. But I will say, I don't know how long it's been since I've had Alfy's previously, but it wasn't as bad as I was expecting.
Gosh, what a ringing endorsement.
Ringing endorsement.
Not about why. Why isn't it as bad? What did you expect it to be?
I mean, it's probably really about the same as it's been. I think I just kind of had it, on my list of I don't really want to go there, and
Right.
But it's probably about normal, and it's not a bad pizza. I mean,
No.
I think we've made it pretty clear on this podcast that we like pizza, so it'd be hard
Especially if it has meat and cheese and sauce and some dough.
Yeah,
We like it.
So I mean, it'd be hard for us to get a pizza that we just couldn't eat.
No. We enjoyed, if you guys remember, frozen pizza. Let me tell you something about this. There's something nostalgic about it, but there's also this taste, right? And for me today, the sauce tastes different. It used to kind of have, I don't know if it was sweet, or even some people said it kind of almost had like a beer taste to it. I didn't notice the sauce wasn't all that impressive to me. It wasn't anything, it didn't stand out. But across the board, what do we get? It's called the Wallop.
Okay, yeah. So I neglected to mention this in my nostalgia piece here, but we got the Meat Eaters Wallop, which is what my family used to get all the time way back in the day. So I'm talking like this. The name of this pizza has been around for like 35 plus years.
And it brought you to the fact that you'd had that. Was there a taste in your head when you just heard that name Wallop?
I mean, the mostly just remembering back to the good old days of coming to Alfy's Pizza and getting the meat eaters Wallop, and that name. I don't remember the name of a lot of pizzas. Usually it's just like meat pizza or pepperoni pizza.
Or meat lovers.
Yeah, meat lovers. And so there's not necessarily a specific name a lot of the times. But this one, like I said, I mean, this is what it was called 35 plus years ago when my family was ordering it.
That's wild
in Linwood. So that's why we got it, kind of tie into that whole nostalgia. But I mean, it's good. It's pepperoni, sausage, and Canadian bacon. So
that's good. That's good.
We've talked before about how that's kind of my thing is the meat pizzas.
Mm-hmm.
So it was good.
I thought it was good. Honestly, I will say, out of all of the ones that we've been to, probably down there near the end.
Yeah, I mean, I'd agree.
Bottom,
it's probably the bottom of the list as far as like actual pizza restaurants.
Not the chains, by the way.
Yeah, not counting the chain, the delivery type chains like the Pizza Huts, Domino's, those kinds of places, and not counting the frozen pizzas that we've done.
Right.
But as far as like the sit down pizza restaurant kind of places, it's the worst that we've had.
It is. Sorry, Alfy. It's true.
Yeah, but again, it's not necessarily, it's not bad.
No.
It's just kind of an average okay pizza.
And I will bring, if there's Alfy's, and I had an experience with a manager that's on staff today, really, during this shift. I didn't have a problem with him during the shift, but he's here. We had an issue when we were here in December, and it was rough. And then he remedied. Yeah, he took care of it. Sorry. Words is difficult up in here right now. But he was just not great.
Wow.
Frustrated and not happy we were here. Kind of maybe a little bit like how Granite was, but don't even stop by. And maybe it's the ownership. I don't know what it is. But all of that to say, he's good. He came out here, took care of us today. I keep coming back to this place. No matter what. This is a place I'll go to probably 2, 3, 4 times a year.
Wow. All right. So, I mean, I will say I was surprised the number of people here for lunch today. I mean, obviously you had the group, the middle school group. But in addition to that, there's a handful of people here, which honestly was a little bit surprising. Mm-hmm. I, like I said, have not been here in a really long time because mostly I feel like you come here when you have a group.
True.
Whether it's Little League or whatever. And so my kids are older now, and so I haven't really had those kinds of group outings in the last few years.
And we have a ton of them because my family is a group.
That is true.
So we kind of get out with them as well. But
yeah. So I will say they do have a lunch special, which is nice. Makes it a little bit cheaper if you're coming here for lunch. We ordered an extra large pizza, which at lunchtime is $18.49.
That's not bad.
Which, I mean,
it
was a good size pizza. So not horrible. Wouldn't call it cheap, but not horrible. But at dinner time, so after 2 o'clock, that same pizza is $26.49. So it's $8 difference if you order it a few hours later.
Yeah, no thanks.
So that is definitely excessive. I would not do that.
I agree. It used to be half off, so I kind of have that nostalgia as well.
Right, yeah, they used to do the half price pizza at lunchtime.
Yeah.
So now it's just a discount. So we ordered an extra large, couple of drinks, and a tip, and it came to $33.39.
That is extra large, so I think I can lean into that a little bit.
Yeah, so, I mean, I will say just a couple days ago, I ordered some pizza for some guys doing the work at the church.
Oh, sure.
2 large pizzas from Sahara, and it came to over $50.
Including tip.
And no drinks.
Huh.
So, I mean, it is cheaper than some of the other things in the area, but it's also, like we said, not as good.
And I'll say definitely Sahara is better for me. We also have had a lot of kindness and generosity from the owners there. So.
Yeah. And
I'll say one of the worst memories that I have of this place was calling here as a youth pastor in Monroe, at a very large church in Monroe, Cascade Community Church. And the guy thought I was on hold, and he goes, "Yeah, it's the God Squad. They probably want us to give them something free."
Ooh.
I had a 25 pizza order that I would have really loved to go somewhere else with at that point. And that would have just been bitterness and anger, and we talked about that last time. So.
And there weren't really a lot of pizza options in town at that
Nope.
at that
so
point.
I just had to tell him, hey, I heard you, and I'm not trying to ask you for anything free. A discount would be nice because I'm about to order 25 pizzas. Oh, that wasn't me. I'm like, come on, bro. Come on.
All right. Well, so that's our take on Alfy's Pizza. Thanks for going down memory lane with me there.
Thanks for hanging there with us.
And we're going to take a break, and we will be right back for some more discussion on
now.
Pastors and Pizza. All right, we are back on Pastors and Pizza.
Hey.
Aaron, it's been about a month since we have last recorded. Mm-hmm. What's been happening?
Well, since we talked last, my uncle, speaking of pizza, my Uncle Gump and I would have Pizza Haven all the time. That's more down the line. But he passed away. He went to sleep kind of on a cruise and woke up with Jesus right next to my auntie. And so that's really kind of the biggest thing. I love him. He's, my first big brother, so to speak. And, well, he's my uncle for real, but like a big brother. And so, yeah, working through all that and helping with his memorial service and celebration of life. And my kids and I are still reading books together. Understanding that I've read more with my youngest two than I think maybe all of my other kids except Genesis combined.
Wow. All right.
So yeah, that's
so we might get into that kind of a thing in our topic for today coming up. So stay tuned for that.
A little foreshadowing.
Yeah.
And then just getting ready for Ellie to graduate, which is crazy. She's
coming up
right around the corner.
About a month or so.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And almost exactly today, a month. And then just really focusing. Excited as we were speaking. Our parking lot is being somewhat completed. The new parking lot.
Long time coming.
Yep. Highs and lows and all that. How about you, my man? What's been going on with you?
Not a whole lot going on. Just kind of the status quo, normal stuff. I will say that my daughter, my middle child but oldest daughter, just returned from school at Grand Canyon University.
Home, Abby.
She came home here a couple weeks ago and is probably going to be spending most of the summer working in Lake Chelan.
Oh, dang.
Not literally in the lake, but in the town of Lake Chelan.
She's not a mermaid.
No. Merwin is her name, but
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've been called Merman before. More of a take on my name than on my swimming prowess, though.
Don't sell yourself
short. So so she came home. That's not a ton going on. Just kind of doing stuff. But because I've talked about this so much, I feel like I probably should bring it up here. Is I did make a switch from Movie Pass.
Oh my!
Back to the AMC Stubs.
You did
A-list. So Movie Pass, they had I only had it for a couple of months, but they already kind of bumped the credits up that it takes to see a movie. And so it was working out where, depending on what time of day and which day of the week, I could maybe get 2 movies in per month, which is still a good deal because it was only $10 a month.
That's
so even
true.
if I went to one movie, I mean, it gives at least a bit of a discount.
That's true.
But it wasn't necessarily wasn't necessarily the incentive to see movies that I was hoping for. And
right.
So it was just kind of if you're going to go to a movie this month, here's a bit of a discount. So decided to switch
to the
AMC Stubs A-list, which 3 movies a week.
What?
Any format. So IMAX, Dolby Cinema, 3D, doesn't matter. And it's with tax, it's just under $25 a month. So just saw my first movie last night. Saw Guardians of the Galaxy in IMAX, which normally would cost about $21. So it pretty much pays for the whole month just in that one movie.
No kidding.
And yeah, I thought it was a pretty good movie. Better than the second Guardians of the Galaxy. Probably not as good as the first.
Wow. All right.
But yeah, I thought it was a decent movie.
Not a bit. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's about it. Baseball's over as well. That was hard, but it's good to have some time back and to have, more time with my fam and with my job, which I love my job. So being away from that wasn't like an escape, but I also love those young Bucks, and we almost made the playoffs. Got a play-in game. So anyways, that's what's been going on.
Nice. So yeah, hopefully you guys are hearing us all right. We do have quite a bit of noise here in the background with this middle school group. I think I literally just heard coins falling on a table. So
they were on the ground and I saw it, and Blair Broughton was quick to help, and he didn't even pocket any of it. He handed it right back to the
That's
student.
what you want in your teachers.
He's a solid man.
Yeah. I mean, he's a Coug fan, but we try not to hold that against him.
He did go to GCU for his master's degree.
Lopes up. All right.
Online lopes up.
All right.
Okay.
Well, yeah, that's it for this segment. Go ahead, stay with us. We're going to take a break, and we're going to come back and talk about a topic that was requested by somebody. I don't know if they actually listened or if they just saw our social media post and commented. But
if you listen, by the way, and Lauren, Bill, Bethany, sometimes my mom, my brother Jason. No, sorry, I love you, Jason, but my brother Brady. And who else do we know listens? Mike, Miyoshi, are you still listening?
I mean, my brother Chris listens pretty consistently.
Hi, Chris.
I think my son JD listens sometimes, and
What's up, Jonathan
haven't
David?
heard much about his friend Micah. That was a pretty staunch listener from day one, but I'm not sure if that's still happening or not.
But he's a newly.
Micah, if you not yet.
Oh.
Micah, if you're out there, we appreciate it.
We do appreciate you.
All that to say, we're gonna go to a break now. Let's stop rattling off people's names.
We're going to take a break.
We're going to take a break, go to a break on the show.
Break off.
We'll be back in a minute
Okay,
on Pastors and Pizza.
Can we step out of this time machine? Turn around. Cause with you, we move so quickly. Slow it down.
We reached out on social media last week trying to kind of promote the show, get some feedback, get some ideas. We had one person respond with topic ideas. So I'm gonna put this out here on the podcast to those of you who listen. Let us know, what would you like us to talk about? Maybe you just want to hear our opinion on something. You want to stump us. You want us to sound stupid. What do you want us to talk about?
I don't need any help with that.
Yeah,
John.
we do a pretty good job on our own, but we'd love to be bringing you topics that you're interested in, that you want us to talk about. So let us know what you'd like. But we'll give a shout out. Like I said, before the break there, I don't know if Destiny Faust listens,
Hi, Destiny,
or if she just saw the post and responded. But Destiny asked if we could talk about parenting.
Which is a wonderful and pretty broad topic. Right?
It is a broad topic. We are both parents, so
neither of us are mothers. Happy Mother's Day, by the way.
So we're going to bring a father's perspective to the conversation, and in order to kind of narrow it a bit, we decided. Now, I mean, we're a bit older. My youngest is 19 years old. I've got a 19, 21, and almost 24-year-old.
Yes.
You've got a much wider range.
We do.
And so your youngest is how old?
He is 11.
11 to
Genesis is under 40.
Under 40.
Barely.
So you're still in the throes of a lot of the parenting. And obviously, we never stop parenting as long as we're alive, right?
Amen.
But we thought it would be good to bring the perspective of having been parents for a long time now. What are maybe some things we would have done differently? What are maybe some regrets? What are some advice that we can give to younger parents to maybe avoid some of the things that maybe we didn't avoid? That kind of a flow there.
Nice. I like it. Boy, very first thing. This is like when you say to somebody who's freaking out, don't freak out, or needs to calm down, don't calm down. That's not very helpful. So,
I don't think you tell them to not calm down.
excuse me, calm down.
Yes.
And I think it's a reader board that says nobody in the history of being told to calm down is calmed down by being told to calm down.
I'm going to, yes, amen. Because my wife likes to tell me to calm down sometimes, and then that just makes me less calm.
Right. So with that, maybe the whole thing that I would regret is the amount of worry that I've had about my children. And as a dad, I have modeled that for them, which leads to another regret that I have, is modeling maybe a fear of man and a fear of what people think. And
Yeah.
I did that really quite a bit with my oldest kids, in particular Genesis and Zach. And Michaela. I was really concerned about what people thought. Didn't want them to think ill of Jesus or Christianity or the church, and so I would kind of have those kind of fears, those kind of knock it off, don't do that, don't say that. And it wasn't hypocrisy as much, although I could say I regret that as well.
Yeah.
But I just regretted worrying more about what people thought than letting my kids kind of be who they are. You know, one of my greatest joys, I think it's 3 John 4, is to know that my children walk in the truth. My deepest regret as a dad isn't being more intentional with all of my kids with regards to helping them know Jesus and follow Jesus. I'm not responsible for them following Jesus as far as them choosing, but boy, pouring into them, discipling them, shepherding them, pastoring them, and not in a "thus saith the Lord," but coming alongside of them. Those are a lot of things. There's my quick ones. What about you, my man?
Yeah, so I don't know if I like the word regret necessarily, because I think we were having this conversation the other day when we were talking about what do we want to use for this topic today, and I think for the most part, I mean, obviously there's exceptions to just about anything, but for the most part, parents try to do their best.
Amen.
Right, and they're given different cards to play with at times, and so
True.
maybe they're some have more advantages or disadvantages than others. But I think most parents try to do the best that they know how to do. But there's not really a user manual for kids, right? And I remember when our son was born, JD, we brought him home from the hospital. He was in his little carrier for the car. We set him down on the floor, and we're like, "What do we do now?"
Oh gosh.
Right? Are they like, why did they let us leave the hospital with this little human? Like we're not qualified for this. We've
never done
right?
this.
And you get this from people getting married. You get this from people having kids. It's like, well, I want to wait until I'm ready. Well, you're never ready.
No, sir.
You're never ready to be a parent. And so I think first off, give yourself some grace on things that maybe didn't go as well as you would have liked them to go, right? But that said, looking back, I would say if regret or just things I wish I had done maybe a little bit better or differently is I think I probably made too big of a deal out of things that ultimately aren't a big deal.
Wow. Yeah. That's
And
really well said.
things like grades or even like cleaning your room or making sure that what I say is what goes. And I mean, I think there's important stuff around those things, as far as discipline and respect and that kind of stuff. But I think you just have to be really careful. What are you communicating to your kids about what the most important things are as you raise them? And you do that through obviously what you say. You do that through what you model. There's a lot of different ways that happens, and so that's probably what I would say is not focusing as much on the truly important things, which I would say is following Jesus and character and being like Jesus, and not just about following rules or looking a certain way to those around us, whether it's grades or appearance or
Yes,
behavior
absolutely.
or what you talked a little bit about with the fear of man stuff, right? And so that's probably the biggest thing I would say. And then very related and kind of close behind that is just intentionality.
Yes.
So it's so easy to just kind of let parenting happen in the moment, responding to things.
True.
And so I think being more intentional about spending time with my kids and how that time gets used and you know, definitely with spiritual formation and time in the Word and prayer and all those kinds of things, just being intentional with it, because I think the hope is that, you know, it'll just happen. And sometimes it does, but
right.
you know, having that intentionality I think is super important.
I agree. And I mean, with all of that, neither one of us want to say if we could go back, we'd be more controlling. That's not what it is. But it's the intentionality, making the most of the moments, planning for some moments. Look, as I sit here right now, I've taught maybe 2 of my kids how to ride a bike. All of them how to drive, you know, except the ones that aren't driving yet. But I mean, that's only 3 that aren't driving out of 11. And there's a lot of things that I think of that I'd like to go back and be more intentional, be more in the moment.
Right.
And again, that's not a controlling thing. It's just being aware, slowing down, turning off the TV. We never really had TV, but we would watch stuff.
Yeah.
Letting work go and just being present. That kind of intentionality.
Yeah, and there's an expression that most people probably heard as the years go fast and the days go slow. Right?
Exactly.
And it's easy on, you know, a Tuesday evening to come home from work and think, oh, I just need some quiet. I just need time for myself. And that's probably true. And that's good, right? But it's easy to put off some of these things, some of this intentionality that we're talking about, some of the purposeful stuff, because, oh, I can do that tomorrow. I can do that Saturday. I can do that. And then you look up and, you know, 2 years have gone by and you're like, dang, how did my kids get 2 years older?
Exactly.
Right? And so it feels like the weeks and the days are just so slow, and you drudge through, and you got stresses and you got hardships and you got tasks that need to get done and you got all this stuff, and then you look up and it's like, dang, where did the years go? And so having a plan, having an intentionality is just so important.
That's really good, bro.
Yeah, one other thing I was thinking about the other day as I was trying to prepare for this is like, what would I maybe have done differently? And I thought of something that was maybe a little bit weird. Is I wish I had failed more in front of my kids. And not necessarily, you know, just because I want to suck at things, but one of my biggest things, and I think I've talked about this before. One of my biggest things is a fear of failure. I don't want to look stupid. I don't want to look like I don't know what I'm doing, and so I will intentionally avoid things to not fail. Right. And I think there's some good in that. Like, you need to kind of know what your skills are and some of that, right?
I agree.
But it also, I think, kept me from maybe, and the reason I say it in this regard is, you know, maybe there's some stuff that I could have, you know, encouraged our family to do, or just encourage my kids to be able to try things, even if they might fail, and know, one, that it's not going to kill them, it's not going to, you know, permanently scar them necessarily, and obviously it depends on what we're talking about, but
true.
For the most part, you do need to fail because it's a learning tool. It helps you grow.
Absolutely.
And so I wish I had modeled that better for my kids, so they would be willing to maybe take some calculated risks. Again, not be stupid, not do dangerous things, not do sinful things,
nothing,
or
right?
you know, but take risks, knowing that it's safe to do so in certain environments and situations, right?
I love that. And I think one of the things that I've been afraid of as well is, and it's almost always pride, is people judging, right? And I think I already talked about it as far as the fear of people, so I won't belabor this, but the idea that we don't realize what God thinks about us and that he doesn't waste anything, and that he's using all these things where we pick battles that we're sure we're going to win.
Right.
And in so doing, faith doesn't get developed so much.
Right. Well, and I think this is related to that. I think I know I've done this, and I think just observing other parents, I think it's pretty common, especially in this day and age, of the level that we go to protect our kids from hardship and from suffering and from failure.
Yeah.
And I'll say I probably did too much for my kids, and so then there's maybe some stuff that I'm still kind of doing that maybe they could be doing, right? Or there's protections that we put into place because, and it makes sense. We don't want our harm to come to our kids. We want them to be safe. We want them to be loved. We want them to be protected. But I think we currently, in our current society, I think we take it too far, or you get the opposite where your kids just do whatever and you're totally absent, right? But I think allowing your kids to suffer some natural consequences, allowing your kids to maybe fail at some things, and not continually just putting these safeguards and these bumpers to direct them. And again, it's within reason, right? You don't want them to fail in a way that's going to injure them, harm them, kill them, or whatever. But there's things that we claim is, they can't possibly have my kid go through this particular thing when maybe they should.
Come on, John. You know what you're saying to me right now and this reminds me so much. And so for Destiny and anybody else who's a young parent, I was afraid for my kids to do poorly or to fail because of the reflection it was on me. And I forget that the perfect dad has had every one of his kids fail.
Absolutely.
And that doesn't make God a failure, right? The very first people, he didn't keep them from the most severe consequence ever. He said, if you eat from this tree, you'll be separated. And then he gave them a choice. And I'm afraid to sometimes let my kids have choices because of what they might choose.
Right.
But he also said, I'm going to pay for that. And all you have to do is believe that you need me. Like, I'm the perfect dad. I'm paying for your sin. I didn't cover it in that I ignored it. I dealt with it. Hi. That was somebody saying hi podcast. But I just keep coming to that, and I have to be reminded of it. And so thanks for bringing me to that. God's a perfect dad. Perfect God. Perfect. Nothing wrong.
Yeah.
And even when his kids or his creation all fall short of the glory of God, he's still perfect.
Right.
We're not perfect, but
I've been playing around a little bit with some AI tools. We've been using Chat GPT a little bit. We call Chat GPT Pastor Chat because he's been helping us with some sermon. She I don't even know.
Everybody's freaking out over there. Don't freak out. We don't let it preach for us.
So yeah, we know that there's some definite concerns with the push towards AI. So
absolutely.
We recognize
middle
that.
Schools even. Bye, Sold Middle School. Say goodbye, Joey.
Bye.
Okay.
All right. So
say goodbye, Blair.
Bye, Blair.
So I asked Bing's AI some stuff. I asked it what are maybe some common parenting regrets, and we've touched on some of these. So this is what it came up with: spending more quality time together.
Amen.
Parenting their kids as individuals, right? So recognizing the different strengths and weaknesses of your specific kid and not treating them all the same. Asking for help, being more consistent, and being more open with them.
Nice.
And so we talked about some of those. But one of those that stood out to me was the asking for help. And so I think that's maybe my encouragement as we talk to parents that are kind of in the heat of the battle right now. Is you don't have to do it by yourself.
No.
I mean, obviously, first and foremost, you and your spouse or you and your kids, other parent, are a team, or should be a team, right?
Yeah.
And so work together, right, on your parenting, but also ask others for help. Get some resources. Talk to your pastors. Talk to your friends. Talk to your parents, grandparents, whatever the case may be, and get help. You don't have to do it alone.
Amen. Love it. gosh, you guys, in admitting that you don't, here's one for you guys. Humility, right? Ask your kids. How can I help you? And is there a way that I could be a better dad? Is there a way I could be a better parent? What would you like to change in me if you could? And I think we're afraid to do those kind of things. But rather than be afraid, ask. And it's certainly asking God for help. Because there is stuff in the Word. I mean, right off the top of my head, the help that we get from God's Word about parenting is significant. And it's about intentionality. Check this one out really quick. Deuteronomy 6, 4-7. You've heard this. It's the Shema. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. And these words that I command you today shall be on your heart. You shall teach them diligently to your children, and shall talk of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, when you lie down, and when you rise. Every day. Every day you need God. Every day you need His Word. Every day we need His help. And so, to your point, man, admitting it and then sharing that with your kids and humbling yourself enough to ask them sometimes, help me, help you kind of a thing.
Right. Yeah. Any other kind of advice that you would give to parents?
There's a lot of advice that comes to my mind. You guys, rather than be that guy that just gives you advice, I will say, trust God, follow Him, point your kids, point your spouse, point your friends, point people that you work with to the Lord by obeying Him, by living for Him, and being patient with them while they're figuring it out. I have no greater joy than when my kids walk in the truth, and have had no greater pain than when they haven't. But their story ain't done yet.
Right.
God's still doing work in all of us, and so He's faithful to complete the work He begins in us. Things can change in a heartbeat. One of the other things that has stood out to me is this idea of train up your children in the way they should go, Proverbs 22:6. And when they're old, they won't depart from it. We plant and we water, my friends. God makes it grow. Keep planting. Keep watering.
Yeah.
Stay consistent.
Well, and to add to that, I think that the tendency for us a lot of times is to put our kids first. And in some aspects, we need to do that, right? And especially the younger they are, the more dependent they are, right? They can't feed themselves when they're babies. They can't, right? Nice. They can't. So you have to prioritize all of that, right? Yep. But I think one of the mistakes we make as parents is putting our kids above everything else. Woo, and the way to train the kids in the way that they should go is to first and foremost do it yourself. Like, you need to be following Jesus. And you're gonna primarily train them up by modeling it.
That's right.
Right? And it doesn't do any good to be teaching them scriptures and commands and all these things if you're not doing it yourself.
Come on, man. Don't be a hypocrite. They got a good BS meter, right?
Yeah, and we talked about this on our marriage episode, right?
Yes.
Where we've got to focus primarily, first and foremost, on following Jesus ourselves. And then as we do that, we're going to be a better parent.
That's so good, John. And I mean, so you brought up that Ephesians 6:4 says, fathers, don't provoke your children to anger, but bring them up in the discipline and instruction of the Lord. Do as I say, not as I do, isn't going to work.
Right.
And I think in the NIV it says, don't exacerbate them, right? Exasperate. Oops, that was close. I was right there. Words. But if you're not going to exasperate them, you got to just slow down. Don't just tell them, show them. Even if you don't think they're watching, dear friend, they are. They're watching.
Right. Yeah. So I think that's about all the time that we have for today. I would definitely, there's some resources. I asked Bing AI for some potential resources as well. There's a few different things that I'll try and link to in the show notes. One author that I've been listening to and reading here really for the last year and a half or so in various topics and books is Paul David Tripp.
Nice.
And he's got a book called Parenting, 14 Gospel Principles That Can Radically Change Your Family. I have not read the book, But reading some of his other stuff, I have no doubt that it's quality stuff. So maybe that's a recommendation. And then there's actually a series based on that in Right Now Media, which is a free video Bible study library that we offer to our people. And so if you want to sign up for Right Now Media and access that and tons of other parenting resources, you can do that.
It's free and we offer it, or we offer it and we're making it free to them because
Crosswater, our church that we are from, has purchased access to Right Now Media, and we are able to give that to you for free.
And we want to.
And so you can go to our website, crosswaterchurch.org/Right Now Media, and get signed up for that. There's tons and tons and tons of videos, some of which are parenting resources.
Indeed.
So check that out.
Check out Colossians 3, Ephesians 6. Boy, I love this one. Children, obey your parents in everything, for this pleases the Lord. Kids, if you're listening. And then, fathers, do not provoke your children, lest they become discouraged. Yeah. Gosh, you guys, so much good in the Word. Living it out, trying, making mistakes, admitting it, asking for forgiveness of your kids. Mm-hmm. You guys, model it.
Admit when you're wrong. Apologize.
Don't double down. Humble yourself.
Yeah.
You wonder why your kids are so stubborn? Look in the mirror.
So obviously we've barely scratched the surface on the topic of parenting. So maybe we'll do some follow up down the road or whatever. But reach out if you've got more questions, concerns, want help. Let us know. But we appreciate you listening to the Pastors in Pizza podcast.
God bless you. Jesus loves you. Show the world how awesome He is.
All right, we'll see you next time.
Bye now.
This has been Pastors and Pizza, a production of Crosswater Community Church in Sultan, Washington.
Check us out online at crosswaterchurch.org.
We meet every Sunday morning at 9 and 10:45 on the corner of 3rd and Birch in Sultan.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to leave us that 5-star review, and we hope to see you soon.
Bye.
Adios.